because Mr. Shaun Bailey has another one to raise. There's quite a lot of choice in the Home Office, isn't there, Mr. Bailey? So what are you going to go on? Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Lincoln, I'm conscious that the committee's looked at this previously, but one of the big things that's come out from before is around the dearth of information that's available on particularly the numbers of people who are currently are here illegally. What have you done? What measures have been put in place to try and drill down into that data, get more data, and try and make things a little bit more accurate? Because, as I say, that comment of there being a dearth of information is slightly concerning.
I think that's primarily a responsibility in terms of immigration enforcement and the work which the NAO set out. And a number of steps are being taken, though, by the department to try and refine their understanding of this, including working with the Office of National Statistics. And, of course, the next year's census data will also prove very helpful in trying to work through some of the issues.
But okay, no, that's helpful. I mean, is it fair to say that, given that you're having to make sort of operational costing decisions, with this lack of data, are we all sort of sat on a bit of a runaway train here, wondering where it's going to go in terms of how you're making these operational decisions? I mean, how can you do that without this data?
So the operational decisions which we make at the border will be related to whether or not somebody has a right to come and work or visit to the country, rather than whether or not someone is going to later be here as part of that. So that's the prime focus which we have.
Okay, and just looking at the broader, obviously, Brexit impact, how are you finding things? How are you finding cooperation with our European partners? What steps have you, additional steps that you've had to take operationally as a result of obviously Brexit, and how are you finding the implementation of those measures now?
So we've had very good relations with our European partners on this, and in particular with our colleagues in France, where myself and Préfet Lalonde, who is the Préfet of Calais du Nord and beyond region, have set in place a series of working groups where we talk through the sort of operational issues, and we've worked those through with technical experts, and including the ports and the carriers such as Eurostar and Eurotunnel, to make sure that we are operating very collaboratively and to try and make sure that the border runs as smoothly as possible between our countries.
Okay, but are you confident that obviously the gaps that are there as a result of Brexit, I'm thinking, for example, because obviously now we're outside of, say, the Dublin regulations, for example, how are you trying to plug those gaps? I mean, is cooperation the key in all of this, to ensuring that, when you're trying to cooperate to ensure that people go back to where they need to go, that can be done effectively? So
I think that might be one which the Permanent Secretary might want to refer to in terms of wider Home Office perspective. But as I say, certainly from a operational perspective, we work very closely with our, in particular, French colleagues on the other side of the Channel.
Mr. Rycroft.
I mean, I very much agree with what Mr. Lincoln was saying, and more broadly, we are very keen, I think, at ministerial and official level in the Home Office to maintain relationships with all of our crucial European opposite numbers. I would pick out Ireland and Germany as particularly important alongside France, and we have discussions with them on other issues we haven't talked about today, including future returns agreements and so on.
Mr. Bailey.
Okay, Chair, I'll leave that there.